What's going on, everybody? Saturday Ticket here. And today we've got the next episode of reading the historic football book, NFL 100. Today, articles 32 to 34. Article 32 is called Otto Graham's Last Game and Seventh Title. Picture here is Otto Graham running with the football right there. Now, he plays for the Browns, which is probably my least favorite team, but I still gotta respect the guy. The Browns were probably a lot more likable back in the day with guys like him and Jim Brown and such. Otto Graham's Last Game and Seventh Title, December 26, 1955. There can never be a debate about the greatest quarterback in NFL history without the inclusion of Otto Graham. You can talk about style of play or sensational stats, but Graham's resume speaks for itself. 10 seasons played, 10 championship game appearances, 7 championship victories. Perhaps detracting from Graham's legacy, or at least his perception in the modern era, is the fact that his first 4 titles with the Cleveland Browns were not in the NFL. Even still, everyone talks about Tom Brady, and he's got 10 appearances and 7 victories. Otto Graham might be the most underrated quarterback of all time. Anyway, back to reading. The Browns were the marquee franchise in the NFL. They were the marquee franchise in the upstart All-American Football Conference, winning the title in all 4 seasons of the league's existence. The AAFC folded after the 1949 season, with the Browns, San Francisco 49ers, and Baltimore Colts merging into the NFL in 1950. The Browns quickly established themselves as a power in their new league. In the 1950 NFL title game, Graham passed for 298 yards and 4 touchdowns, adding 99 yards rushing, in a 30-28 win over the Los Angeles Rams. A year later, Graham won the first of his 3 NFL MVP awards. In 1952, he led the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns. Amazingly, Graham triumphantly rode off into the sunset not once but twice. Before the 1954 season, Graham told Paul Brown that he planned to retire at the end of the season. Cleveland made it back to the NFL title game, and Graham threw 3 touchdown passes and ran for 3 more scores in a 56-10 rout of the Detroit Lions. Graham announced his retirement after the game. But wait, there's more. When Cleveland opened training camp in 1955, Brown was unsatisfied with the quarterbacks vying to fill Graham's shoes, so he called Graham and convinced him to come back for 1 more year. Graham, who turned 34 by the end of the 55 season, won his 3rd league MVP and led the Browns to the NFL championship game against the Los Angeles Rams. He threw 2 TD passes and ran for 2 more in a 38-14 victory at the Los Angeles Coliseum. Overall, in 10 seasons split between the NFL and AAFC, Graham's record was 114-20-4, including 9-3 in the playoffs. Tom Brady who? Article 33 is called Pro Football Hall of Fame Opens. Picture looks like Brett Favre executing a speech in front of a crowd at the Hall of Fame ceremony. Pro Football Hall of Fame opens September 7, 1963. Being known as the birthplace of pro football would have been sufficient for the good people of Canton, Ohio. The downtown location where George Halas and others met in 1920 to formalize the organization that would become known as the National Football League remains etched in history. But when the league began to consider a location for its Hall of Fame in the late 1950s, Canton jumped at the opportunity. The banner headline of the Canton Repository on December 6, 1959 declared, "Pro football needs a Hall of Fame and logical site is here." Thus began Canton's campaign to host the museum. 1 month later, William E. Umstattd of the Timken Company was chosen to make the city's formal bid to the NFL. 3 months later, the bid was accepted, and civic groups quickly raised nearly $400,000 to build the hall. When the Pro Football Hall of Fame opened its doors on September 7, 1963, it welcomed a charter class of 17 Hall of Famers. The class of 63 included Sammy Baugh, Bert Bell, Joe Carr, Earl Dutch Clark, Harold Red Grange, George Halas, Mel Hayne, Wilbur Pete Henry, Robert Cal Hubbard, Don Huston, Earl Curly Lambeau, Tim Mara, George Preston Marshall, John Blood McNally, Bronco Nagurski, Ernie Nevers, the guy who actually has 6 touchdowns in a single game once, which is tied with Kamara for the NFL all-time record, and Jim Thorpe. The class of 2019 brought the total to 326 members of the Hall. The one constant from 1963 to present day is the immense pride that Cantonites take in being home to the Hall. Literally thousands of residents from Canton and surrounding communities use their annual vacation time to work as volunteers during the week-long enshrinement celebration every summer. It's pretty incredible, said Joanne Murray, VP of Community Events and Sponsorships, Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce. We think for a city of our size to have that kind of commitment is really extraordinary. For their part, many of the living members of the Hall, known as the Gold Jackets, return to Canton every summer. On the Friday of Enshrinement Weekend, they gather for the Ray Nitschke Luncheon, named for the Green Bay Packers Hall of Fame linebacker, a closed-door affair in which they remind the incoming class what a special fraternity they now belong to. If they didn't already know that, the people of Canton are quick to remind them with their great respect and hospitality. They're so glad you're there, said Hall of Famer Joe Delamyeller, the former Buffalo Bills offensive lineman. People always ask if I'm coming back, and I say, are you kidding? I'm always coming back. Article 34 is called AFL's Challenge. Here's the picture. Len Dawson and the Kansas City Chiefs take on the New York Jets during a November 1966 AFL game at Shea Stadium. AFL's Challenge, December 6, 1963. While NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle is credited with engineering the AFL-NFL merger that triggered the Super Bowl era, perhaps there would never have been a Super Bowl if not for the challenge put forth by AFL Commissioner Joe Foss. The American Football League began play in 1960. If the upstart league didn't pose an immediate threat to the growing popularity of the NFL, it at least caught the attention of the senior circuit. The AFL started franchises in cities that were eager for pro football. They secured a national television contract and enticed some big-name college football players to give them a try. At the end of the AFL's 4th season in existence, Foss sent a letter to NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle in which he suggested a championship game between the winners of both leagues. I feel strongly that the time has arrived for the inauguration of such an annual game, he wrote. Foss called for the first game to be played at the conclusion of the 1964 season. He was only off by 2 years. As part of the merger, the first AFL-NFL World Championship was played at the end of the 1966 season. Of course, that game is also recognized by another name, Super Bowl I. I hope you guys enjoyed the 12th installment of NFL 100. If you didn't know, this is actually the 3rd last episode before the NFL 100 series goes on a hiatus. And the NFL season starts, and we replace it with some other content, like Thursday Night Football predictions, 60-second takes, where I pick every Sunday game in about a minute. So make sure to subscribe for all that. I'll also probably make a video going over my predictions for this upcoming NFL season before the season starts. I've got my NFL board, and I could make some predictions of who's going to win their division, and then eventually who's going to win the Super Bowl. So make sure you subscribe for all that. Hit the like if you enjoyed. I hope you guys are enjoying the Superstar promo in Madden Ultimate Team. If you've been on lately. I also posted my rookie premiere choices yesterday. You can check that out if you want. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.